What is up? Sean Murphy here with
Chad Griesmer.
Holding it down. Today we are talking about apartment renting in the greater Denver metro area. Although this is a real estate channel, we have gotten a lot of requests for people that are moving out here, not quite ready to buy, not quite ready to make the home purchase, but you're looking for rental recommendations, and this is the guy to help you out. So we're gonna be talking about just general things that you should be aware of or consider if you haven't made a cross-country, cross-state move. Then also some things that are nuances specifically to the Denver market to ensure that you have success, because moving sucks, right?
Yep.
It's exciting, new city and everything like that, but the process and actually packing your shit and moving it is a bear. So we're gonna try to make it as easy as possible for you, all right? Are you ready?
Yep, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Cue the intro. Boom. Alright guys, welcome back on this channel. Like I mentioned, it's a real estate channel. We typically help people find the perfect neighborhood, the perfect house for their situation, and we do that, so if that's what you're looking for, hit us up. But in this video, we are talking all about apartments, relocating, and special guest today is Chad Griesmer. Chad, tell the people what you do.
I'm Chad Griesmer. I work for a company called Apartment Amigo. Apartment locating service, 100% free service. Basically the real estate agent for the apartment industry. Anything from buildings to neighborhoods to pricing to what the kitchen counters and kitchen cabinets look like. I'm your guy for that.
Hit him up. We're gonna have our contacts here, so reach out if you need some assistance. But let's get on into it. The first thing that we're gonna be talking about is just like the timeline. So you're getting started. Denver is a market where things do move quickly. So Chad, hit him with like the ideal timeline and why.
Yeah, totally. So living in an apartment, many of you about 3 months before your lease is up, you'll get a notice on your mailbox, on your door, via your email, hopefully all 3 of those. The management is competent and they're basically reaching out and saying, hey, your lease is up in 90 days, what are you gonna do? And essentially the building gives you that 30 days to let them know what's going on. Buildings have to market their unit, they have to clean it up, they have to tell people about it. 2-month process for the building. So with that being said, 90 days is a great start for people either relocating in Denver or from across the country, even across the world, to start narrowing down what is most important to you. Within about 30 days, we have conversations and we narrow down all the options out there in Denver that are gonna fit 80%, 90%, 100% of your boxes. Then when we're about 60 days, that's when we need to start getting into the buildings. The buildings do know what is gonna be available from the point you tour to 60 days out. And then, you know, if you're within that 60 days, just think of it, that's our back wall. And we're just lessening time. Apartments are flying off the shelf. Prices are increasing. Specials are subject to change daily. You know, I've been working with somebody, we're moving 60 days out. Cool, let's get into the building. They're kind of twiddling their toes. I'm not really sure if I'm ready to go. All of a sudden, the next day, the management emails us, our company and everyone. They're like, hey, the month special is actually no more. We're at 95% occupancy. We don't need that special anymore. And then the client just lost out on $1,900 that was gonna be credited to their account. And so there is a timeline that in this industry, after my 1.5 year experience of doing this, we have to work. If you want your perfect place, if you want your building and your apartment that checks 100% of your boxes, you gotta listen to me.
There's so many people moving here, especially as like after COVID, post-COVID, where people are able to work remotely. We're getting a ton of people that are moving here because the lifestyle, right? And they can work remotely, they can work anywhere, and they're choosing Denver. And so it's hot. It's hot, just like the real estate market.
Yeah, to build on top of that, not only is it hot, 200 to 300 people moving here a day, Denver operates on fair housing laws, meaning all you have to do to get an application accepted is to have income verification, usually 2.5 to 3.2 times the monthly income that you're generating gross over the course of a month, and then a background check. If you can pass those 2 things, once you put in an application, that apartment's yours.
That's what's up. But you do have to put like a holding, you have to put down a...
Correct. There are going to be different fees, whether it's an application fee anywhere from $0 to $15. Those are going to be non-refundables. But then the holding fee, which is going to be...
That's what you want, right?
Exactly. The holding fee is going to be a small monetary amount, a tenth up to about 15% of what your monthly income is to take it off the market. It shows that you are actually invested in moving into that property. And then once those two things are in, apartment's yours, no one else can look at it. I've been on tours sometimes the night before we schedule, we're gonna go see this building, this apartment, this apartment, this apartment. We show up the next morning, all of a sudden that apartment we were gonna go see in that particular building's off the market. We're SOL, we're shit out of luck right now. There's nothing you can do.
Pricing. One of the number one questions that I get on the channel that I'm always deferring to Chad on are like costs. People say, hey, I have like $1,200 and I want to get a 2-bedroom. And I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna pass you to Chad, but I'm pretty sure the answer is no. So Denver ain't cheap, but it's awesome and it's worth it. But tell them let's just walk through. If they're looking for like a studio, if they're looking for 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, what are they looking at as far as price points?
Yeah, no one wants to spend their entire paycheck on rent. However, just as Sean alluded to and said verbatim, Denver is expensive. It's not getting any cheaper. Some of the most recent data pulled from Rent Cafe shows that Denver is actually up 11% for 1-bedrooms. That's also correlated with 2-bedrooms and studios. So Denver is up 11%, 18.24. That's just for base rent. Usually every year, month to month, correct, for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. Year to year, 19 to 20, 20 to 21, usually we see about a 5 to 8% increase in rental, just cost of living, just inflation, all that fun stuff. However, we're seeing that it's almost double that, 11% compared to what it was last year. And so all of a sudden what happened with the COVID-19 pandemic that's honestly still in effect over here in Denver, prices are just all over the place right now. But one thing we are seeing is that prices aren't necessarily decreasing.
Yeah, how did it affect the rental market?
Yeah, from apartment locating side, what we were seeing is that buildings were, 1, losing tenants, or 2, tenants weren't able to pay because they had lost their job, because they were sick, they weren't doing sick pay. So basically what we're chalking this up to is that buildings, private owners, anybody who owns equity and is trying to sell or rent out, is they lost money last year. What we see with this 11%, 12%, 10% increase in pricing is buildings compensating for that money that they missed all of Q1, 2, 3, 4, and even in the beginning of Q1 for 2021. So buildings are making up their money.
And also there's probably like a kink in the hose, right? With like COVID, not a whole lot of people moving. And that's also why some of these people were offering incentives for people to come out here. But now that things are opening up, everyone's moving, everyone's getting it done this year, and not a lot of the same incentives, right?
Totally. Beginning of last year, we were hearing insane concessions, 3 months free, 6 months free parking. And I talked to people whose leases are up now, realizing that they moved in a year ago. I talk about what concessions were the buildings given. Absolutely insane. Basically just saying, hey, please come and live with us. I mean, 2-bedrooms, they were prorating down to $1,800 a month. 1-bedroom's just about over $1,000. It was insane. However, no more of those concessions anymore.
What am I looking at for a studio?
Yeah, you look. There's going to be a direct price with, or a direct correlation with price and quality of living as well. I mean, you can find a studio for $900. I strongly encourage you to get a roommate because you get a lot more space, a lot more bang for your buck. I'm currently in a 2-bedroom right now. I don't even pay $1,400. I'm paying way less than that because it's 2 of us occupying, two different bedrooms.
And then I get questions too about like renting houses. Like, hey, I'm moving to Denver. I want to buy eventually, but I think I just want to rent a house first. I got kids. Like, where do you recommend pricing? It's really hard pressed to find anything like a house for under $2,000 a month. And so, yeah, most like $2,500 to $3,000 is like where you're going to start finding something like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. But hit me up for that. We have like rent-to-own company that we work with and investors. We have a bunch of options if you're looking to rent a house. Chad's more apartments, right? Apartments,
buildings, let's go. Buildings do have transfer policies within their particular building, right? So when an apartment locator, myself, I'm going to ask you, what is the maximum amount you can afford for a place? So 1, know your finances, but 2, be open to that. With my knowledge, the knowledge of apartment locators, specifically Apartment Amigo, like I said, you can move in a building, a studio that may be at the max end of your budget. Well, guess what? There's community events going on. There's gonna be a 24-hour gym. There's gonna be a pool. You're gonna meet so many different people. Guess what? I guarantee there's someone who's in a very similar situation as yourself in that same building. All of a sudden you guys get a 2-bedroom and now your cost is $200, $300 less, and you're in a better spot, and you're gonna be in a badass building. So just keep that in mind. And when somebody asks you what's the max you can spend, it's not so the building building could make the most money off you, but it's like to give you a full scope, 100, 180, I guess it would be 360, a 360 idea of what your options are. So be as transparent as you can with that.
All right, so let's talk about some of the additional costs. You have your base rent, and then depending on where you're living to, you'll have additional costs like parking and stuff like that.
Keep in mind that parking is crazy. Depending on where you are, we've done a video. Cap Hill is notorious for insane parking. Cherry Creek will be a little bit bigger, a little bit more space. West Highlands, there's street parking all over. Where I'm at in the Golden Triangle, I chose not to get a parking space in my particular unit because the first car, my roommate's car, is paying $125. They wanted $200 for that second spot. I said, no way. $25 ticket. I will take 7 tickets and save money by not parking in the parking garage. Pay those off. Still working on those, by the way. But the parking cost is all over the place. One of my favorite buildings, one of my favorite management companies and building owners are the AMLI, AMLI. They're nationwide, specifically in Denver. They have 4 or 5. They're getting ready to open their 5th building here in Denver. They actually include parking within their rent. Costs associated outside of parking, obviously you gotta have utilities, water, gas, electric, and sewage. There are a handful of buildings that do a flat rate. Those are usually correlated with older buildings. A lot of the newer buildings, it's going to be specifically sub-metered to your spot because they're introducing, maybe they have like the Google Nest, or they have a phone app so that you can regulate your own temperatures and usage in your building. Sean, I know you pay a community fee.
I think that's called a community fee. Like basically for all the electricity, because we have like a business center, we have a rooftop with, all the TVs and everything like that, a fitness center. So we have to pay, I think it's like a $20 or $30 fee that I have to pay on top of my rent just to keep the lights on in the rest of the building, which I'm like, that's kind of lame, but I get it. But I'm like, why am I paying that? But I have to pay it. So
yeah, I mean, that's a good question too, is when you're on tour, when you, before a tour, talking with someone like myself, is asking about those community fees that are being paid, because no one wants to walk down a dark hallway after parking in the garage and trying to get to their respective apartment. No one wants the AC to go out, but you are paying for comfortability.
Yeah.
You are paying for the AC of the business center. The computers need to be picked up. Computers need to be hooked up and charged. The printer, the Wi-Fi throughout the building, the free printing. There is a reason for those community fees, but definitely make sure to ask about those prior to tour or while on tour.
So in real estate, I get the question, people ask me, okay, my budget is like $600,000 to $650,000. Like, where am I looking? Like, what are different price points? Is there like something like that? Or is there like the more expensive places to rent compared to like less? If like they're balling on a budget, should they look a certain area?
Yes, within every area you will find high end, you'll find low end, you'll find middle grade. People love the Highlands because it's walking distance. There's always something to do. But also keep in mind, it is the highest dollar per square foot in all of Denver. There is a bunch of stuff to do as well, and so you're already paying more, you're gonna be going out a bunch. Whereas I live in the Golden Triangle area, like I said, in the 2-bedroom before, which is south of the city. I biked up to West Highlands, which ended up being about a 25-30 minute bike ride. It was an easy bike ride. So no matter where you are in Denver, every single neighborhood that you want to live in is easily accessible to every other neighborhood. Highlands is going to be the highest dollar per square foot.
And I know you said it's building to building, but what would be like the next less expensive area?
A lot of people are sleeping on Baker and Platt Park. South of 25, they can be south of 6. So definitely people who are working in DTC who have to commute in the morning. Already, once you're south of 6 and you hit 25, you are eliminating probably 15 or 20 minutes worth of traffic. People want to live in Rhino, but then when I hear that they work in Centennial, it's like, hey, just expect 30 minutes one way, an hour both ways, 5-hour waste of your time just by living a little bit further north. I'm south of the city. It takes me 10 minutes to bike up to Rhino.
So Baker is like South Broadway neighborhood, which is one of my favorite neighborhoods, and we have a video on that neighborhood as well. Are there a lot of buildings over there though?
Yeah, tucked away. There's not going to be a whole lot of buildings directly on Broadway or on Lincoln. They're usually 1 or 2 off on the side.
And I've seen a lot of stuff on by Santa Fe popping up too.
Yeah. There's a couple new buildings. Baker, south of 6, all the way till even like Evans. There's a super sweet building called the Overland, brand new building at Evans in Santa Fe. You get unobstructed westward views. It allows you to not necessarily pay Denver city prices, but still, I mean, I started taking the bus a little bit more. $3 for a day pass, you're downtown in 15 minutes.
And the light rail's right there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shout out Gable Beer.
Oakshire, my friend from Iowa brought these in. Also tip, if you're looking, we mentioned like looking online if you're looking for a room to share, but if you're looking in an area like Capitol Hill is a great example where there will be somebody that's own a house and maybe they have an accessory dwelling unit or a mother-in-law suite, or they just have rooms for rent. A lot of times, because the market is so hot, they won't put anything online. It's not the most effective use of your time all the time, but sometimes just drive around and see if you see a for rent sign in the window, because those go quick too, but you can sometimes find something that isn't online if you're willing to put in the legwork on that.
And I know before they drive around in particular neighborhoods, they can watch any of your videos, because you do walkthroughs in neighborhoods. You know, instead of wasting 45 minutes in a time like, you know, some people do not want to live in Cherry Creek for whatever reason. Why would they spend 45 minutes, an hour driving around when they could have just watched one of Sean's videos and be like, you know what? I love that neighborhood. I'm gonna go drive around that neighborhood today.
You're invited to more videos. Yeah, keep that word. All right, now let's. We're gonna break out. We're gonna talk about some specific things now that you have a building or when you're looking at the building. So just some things to be aware of as far as like lighting, dog access, things like that. So are you ready to do this sweet transition to the rooftop? All right, we out here. We hopped out to the rooftop to finish up this video. We're gonna talk about some specific building things. Some things that I noticed when I was moved into my building was be aware of the dog area. So luckily, like, I'm on a higher level floor, which is cool. But I noticed that since Denver is a city that we love dogs so much, that the people that are on the lower levels, because everybody wakes up, they walk their dogs and the sun hits it. And so I noticed on the first level walking around, sometimes you'll get that stank piss smell. And if you're like me, you like to have your windows open all the time, just be aware, you might be getting wafts of that.
The building you're at right now, beautiful building, insane rooftop view. If the only spot that they have available happens to be a first floor right next to an exit, is that going to be a reason to deter people from like the fact that they're living in a five-star building right now?
Actually, since we're talking about dogs, like dogs, we get questions about like how many animals can I have? Are there breed restrictions? And I don't usually know how to answer them. So
there are a handful of buildings that will allow 3. I don't work with buildings that aren't cat or dog friendly. There are breed restrictions, however, specifically when it comes to dogs, Rottweilers, Doberman Pinschers, and Pit Bulls and German Shepherds actually are the top 4 reasons someone would potentially be denied. However, Denver specifically did just pass a bill saying that pit bulls are allowed to be on rental properties, or you're able to have them, but you do have to register them with the state and pay a small fee as well.
Okay.
However, thinking about buildings as private entities, they can still be like, you know what, that breed restriction is within our bylaws or within our lease agreement, so you actually can't have it. I do point people to an alternative way. Moving is one of the top 5 stressors. It does take an emotional toll on an individual moving, and there is a way to certify an animal as an emotional support animal, which is a medical clearance sharing and documented and certified that this animal is there to emotionally support you. And actually, that does waive, the building will not charge you a pet deposit or a pet rent, and actually it will go above the breed restriction.
Yeah, so for the gal on the channel in the comments that said like, hey, I have 5 cats, why won't anybody allow it?
Building, this is an investment. Somebody owns this property and is turning profit every year. Their top motivation for renting out places is to get their money. 5 cats, something is going to happen. They are going to eventually spend more money fixing the stuff that's exceeded the deposit, fixing stuff that your cats did. Specifically Denver, we get 300 days of sunshine, right? So a south-facing unit is going to get 100% natural sunlight all day. Keep in mind that's going to be direct sunlight. The sun is so strong out here. Even a west face, I'm in a west facing building right now. It's beautiful sunsets. However, from 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock, those 4 hours, the sun is literally just beating into our room. So our AC turns up a little bit. So expect when you do have a south facing that does have all this natural sunlight, and a west facing that has all this natural sunlight as well, expect the utility bills just to be slightly higher during the summertime as well. Just because it's west facing doesn't mean you're getting a mountain view. There could be a 3rd floor unit that's west facing that is directly across the street is actually a 4 or 5 story building, so you just get brick walls all day.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, like I said, one of the benefits of working with someone like myself is we have site maps. We have been in these buildings dozens of times, some more, way more than others. We have this working knowledge of just because it's south facing doesn't mean you're getting natural sunlight all day. But if you need that natural sunlight all day, take our advice. Sometimes an east-facing unit in a particular building with unobstructed east-facing views, you're gonna get 8 hours of morning sunlight, and that's gonna be better than your 4 hours of westward, quote, mountain view that you're not even gonna get.
Yeah.
So just some things to consider.
All right, and so let's wrap this up, Chad. So now they got their place because you're awesome. You helped them find the perfect apartment within their budget, everything like that, and now they're moving out here. Anything they should know about the transition here as far as like preparing for arriving at the building?
Yeah, communication is going to be huge. One of the biggest things, it's actually just recently happened to me over the July 4th weekend. I'm back home, ready to hang out with family and just kind of do a relaxing July 4th weekend by the lake. I get a call at 5 o'clock and I get a call at 6 o'clock. 2 clients had moved into a building. They got to the building, apparently not communicated very well. And by they, I mean either the management or the particular individual didn't communicate a time. Hey, I'm moving across country. I just got out of a car of 20 hours of driving. I'm ready to move my stuff. But if you haven't communicated, if you haven't set up a time to pick up your key, if you haven't set up a time to lock down an elevator, you're gonna be stranded.
And I think we talked about a lot of different things. So we'll put up our information again to contact us. Hit us up on our socials. You know, again, I'm the realtor. I do a lot of real estate stuff and I get a lot of your calls. So if you want to talk to me, cool, you can still hit me up. But normally if you're talking about apartments, I'm just gonna tee you up in a 3-way text conversation with Chad. Just want to go directly to the source, hit up Chad. He's your boy, he's got your back. Go watch the rest of our videos, go watch the neighborhood tours, and then like and subscribe. Comment below if you have questions too, specific questions, because I'll tee him up to Chad and he'll get back to you in the comments if you just have a quick one you want to shoot to us. All right, peace.